Welcome back, everybody. It's time to start talking about Hell in a Cell. And overall, let me give a quick rundown of my general thought of the pay-per-view. Some good, some bad. There wasn't one of those kind of things where, oh my god, this was the most awful thing in the world like it was for Battleground. At the same time, I wasn't, every match thrilled and just going crazy. So keep that in mind, good and bad. We're going to break all of it down match by match here like we usually do. And we're going to start off with the pre-show. And not the pre-show that we were told that we were going to get, but the pre-show that we did get. Damien Sandow versus Kofi Kingston. Instead of the Intercontinental Championship match between Big E Langston and Curtis Axel. Now, supposedly, that was because Curtis Axel has some kind of a hip injury, which they haven't touched much upon, and they didn't really make a huge deal out of. So I'm of the idea that this isn't legitimate, and I kind of want to leave that mostly for the United States title talk, but that's just something to keep in mind for when we get to that part later on. What we did get, Damien Sandow versus Kofi Kingston. I like the match essentially for what it was. It was just filler thrown at the last minute, nothing special, nothing awful. Just a good standard type of match that showcased that Damien Sandow has a new finisher and can win. Let's go around here and see what you guys think about it. Peyton?
It was all right. Yeah, Sandow's got a new finisher. It's called the You're Welcome, which is great. I think he finally... It's not the best finisher he could have, but it's a step up from just having this random neckbreaker thing. At least it's something that can be attached to his personality. They can throw a name on it. And it's a pretty nice... what would you actually be the official name of that? It's a full Nelson Slam, I think is what you would call that. And of course, he still has the Kopito Akiet, Kopiko... someone.
The elbow of disdain.
That. Thanks, Michael Cole. But yeah, it was a last minute thing. It was entertaining enough for what it was. I still think they could have taken that U.S. title slot and put it on the opening match, because that way people were promised a title match. People wanted to see a title match. They still would have gotten that, but I think they did what they had to. I don't think it was a fumble by any point in their means. As far as why Curtis Axel was taken out, whether that's legit or not, I don't like to know. I'm one of those people who like to still believe the magic of what's going on there. So I'm just going to believe that it's true for now. And know that the Prodigal Son's Intercontinental title reign continues. It's been a pretty good long one. Maybe he could break some records.
Is he still the best in the world?
The new best in the world. Yeah.
Miguel?
I didn't see this one. I didn't start watching the... By the way, just a heads up, I actually was off that night, so I tried watching the pay-per-view, but I didn't get into the pay-per-view until halfway through the first matchup, so I missed this one. But, God, Kingston versus Sandow, I feel like we've seen that before. And I'm not just saying that to be a dick or anything. It's just, it feels like those guys, it feels like we have seen that kind of matchup, whether it be, just that kind of just two mid-carders put together to have a random matchup. It just has no flavor to me.
I think that's pretty much their spot right now. Just filler. Well, Sandow's in a different story right now, but Kofi Kingston, he's that guy that they throw in whenever they need a title change or they just need somebody to job to Bray Wyatt or...
It's kind of like, hey, we didn't put the IC title match at Night of Champions. I'll just get Kofi.
Right. What do you think about this match, Steven?
I thought it was a solid match for what it was. It was it was like a good TV match, so it fit the pre-show. I was happy with it. I would actually like to see him get a little more time, and I wouldn't mind a program between the two, to be quite honest.
For like a main event kind of slot,
No, just like a general feud between the two. We don't get enough mid-card feuds. I'd like Kofi versus Damien Sandow. I got the feeling it could do something for Kofi more so than Damien Sandow.
Would you want him to be kind of included into this whole John Cena, Del Rio, Sandow kind of thing? Make it a foursome?
Well, I'm guessing that Sandow's going to kind of get knocked down a few pegs after this feud, and I think if you need someone to feud with to stay relevant after he's done with Cena, I think he should feud with someone like Kofi.
For a couple of pre-show matches?
You could stick him on the pay-per-view. maybe actually have one of them be the IC champion. I think Damien Sandow would look good with the Intercontinental title. Like the new like now that they brought back the old style, I think it'd fit him well.
I can tell you, I just made Damien Sandow my Intercontinental Champion on my WWE Universe mode on WWE 2K14, and it looks exquisite on him.
You see, I told you. And by the way, I've just been playing that. I can't even get Hulk Hogan to job at the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Only Daniel Bryan's accomplished it so far.
Is that the only match you play on there?
It's fucking hard. I'd like it. It's really entertaining.
It sounds it.
Brian, your thoughts on Sandow and Kingston?
I'm with Miguel on this one. The thing is, they've done the job well, but I just don't see either of them now rising up above to the status that they're currently on. As with what Payden said and what Stephen has stated, I probably see Sandow going for the IC title at some point, holding a mid-card title. I don't see him escalating any further. And as for Kofi, yeah, he's probably going to get called on when someone else gets injured, just to hold the championship for a couple of more days.
Sandow at best will get one of those. If he stays long in WWE and doesn't do anything wrong, he's going to get one of those veteran championship title reigns somewhere down the line. I could see Kofi. He's had his shot.
Well, you know what? He's got the look for it. Maybe a gimmick change and make him a bit more serious, like they did with The Miz, and you could probably work in a title run, even if it was a couple of months.
I'm not a fan of The Miz at all, especially post WrestleMania. What was the one that he headlined?
27?
Yeah, I have not been a fan of The Miz. I have my problems with The Miz.
Yeah, but what I'm not saying it's got to be like The Miz. I'm saying Miz is an example of someone who got a bit more serious and had a main event run.
I agree with Stephen on that one.
I could see that in Kofi's case. Yeah, maybe a world heavyweight title run.
Before we wrap this up, there's one other thing that happened in the pre-show, which I thought was pretty entertaining. Other than The Undertaker winning the poll for Mr. Hell in a Cell, which is just kind of an awkward title that they would give to somebody. And they had Mick Foley on the list. Like, that would be almost an insult, where his biggest Hell in a Cell thing was nearly
He's
done.
the guy that gets crippled in Hell in a Cell, not the guy that wins Hell in a Cell.
That seemed a little weird, but one thing that I thought was really funny was the panel that we had for this pre-show included Big E Langston, and they ended up setting something up for later on with Big E and Dean Ambrose, which we'll talk about later, but two of the other people that were on the panel were R-Truth and Josh Matthews. And I forget the question that they asked him, but R-Truth goes on this completely nonsensical rant, and he's like all energetic and making no sense.
I got diagrams!
Right, he's just like, flipping out, and he's like, his head's bobbing left and right and whatever. And they pan backward, they pull back, and you can see the whole panel there. And Josh Matthews is cracking up, and he just looks at the camera, and he just mimes the words, "What?" Just to showcase that, like, R-Truth is completely out of his freaking mind.
That's awesome, though. I love R-Truth when he's, like, deep in character. It's fucking batshit funny.
He needs to go back to that. He really does. He's so much more entertaining when he's like that than when he's trying to just do the what's up rap and jobbing out to Bray Wyatt 6 weeks in a row. But any last thoughts for this match, guys? Nope. All right. We're going to roll on and start talking about the first match of the official pay-per-view itself. Tag Team Championship, triple threat match, Goldust and Cody Rhodes against The Shield and the Usos.